Welcome to this edition of Stock Market Pulse. My name is Eric. Today is Wednesday, February 17th, 2016. Didn't do a video this weekend. I'm kind of getting over a cold, so if you hear a little bit of a nasally thing, that's me. But feeling better. And so tonight we're going to do a couple things. We're going to go over kind of half market analysis and some trades that I'm looking at, and one that I got in today, as well as half sort of education on a different indicator that I'm using. You guys may or may not have seen this before, and I wanted to kind of talk about that. So first, let's look at the indicator. And if you guys have followed me for a while, you know that I really like the DMI Stochastic Extreme for my entries and sometimes exits. And basically, this is kind of this oscillating line that between 100 and 0. And what the idea is when it gets oversold and it comes up, that could be a buy signal. Obviously, you want to, you don't want to use a chart by itself, but that's the general idea with the DMI stochastic. So there's another indicator that actually goes on the chart. It's called the DMI Reversal Alerts. And what this indicator does is basically every time the DMI stochastic takes a turn, whether it's up or down, once it makes a change, it will put a little arrow here on the candle, right? So, and again, I'm looking at a 4-hour chart, but basically, you can see it gets here. We get a, I don't want to call it a buy signal. We get a reversal alert, right? That means this thing is turning up ever so slightly. And then it turns back down. So you notice here we got an arrow that this is turned back down, but we did not get an arrow on the stochastic extreme because it never got to an overbought, which in this case overbought is 90. So this indicator is going to give you way more signals. Now, initially that's going to seem kind of annoying and a little bit too much noise. But I'm going to show you how to sort of filter out which ones you should take and in which direction. And so I'm using the 4-hour chart because if you guys have already signed up for my trading plan, you guys know that one of my things is to have less stressful trades, and I'm really looking for bigger time frames. I really don't want to look much less than like an hourly chart. That's not what I'm focused on. I'm not a day trader. I'm a swing trader. And so if you haven't got my trader plan, if you want to learn more about that, go to stockoptionassassin.com. You'll see a link up there. But basically what we're going to look at is the 4-hour chart and using the stochastic reversal alerts instead of the stochastic extreme, but we have to use this with multiple time frames. Okay, so let's let me take this off real quick, and let's head over to the SPY. And obviously, the market's had a pretty good rally up the last few days. And you know what? I'm going to take the sorry, I'm going to take the stochastic extreme off as well to give us a little bit more real estate. And so again, we do not want to take every signal here. We don't want to buy here and short here and buy here and short here. What we want to do is kind of look where the bigger trend might be going and just take signals in that direction. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up a weekly chart of the SPY at the top. And I'm using the DMI Oscillator. And that's sort of a general direction of the index on a weekly chart. So what we can see here is that the SPY, we had this sell-off, and the DMI oscillator is kind of turned back up. It kind of came back down, and now it's starting to turn back up again. So when the oscillator on the weekly chart is turning up, I really just want to look at buy signals. Okay, so if I zoom in here a little bit, you can see that, hold on one second, let me get these to sync. There we go. So you can see at the end of last week, the end of this candle, we really started to get this push. And you actually got a buy signal on Friday, the last half of the day. However, we did not take that signal because at the time, the weekly bar of the oscillator was moving lower. So this is not a trustworthy buy signal. Now, it turns out oil is going higher and a bunch of things are happening in the world. Iran is talking about freezing production, so they're on board with OPEC and a bunch of people. There's a lot of macro stuff going on, but ultimately this started off a 2-day rally. Now we did have a 3-day weekend. It's a 4-day trade week, 3-day weekend because of President's Day. And so at this point, I'm interested in buy signals, but I don't have one yet. Now, we actually got um, a sell signal or a reversal here in the first half of the day. Now, with the 4-hour chart, there's 2 candles per day, right? So there's the morning and there's the afternoon. So right now we have a reversal to the downside. So what I'm looking for is a little bit of, and you also see we have resistance up here too. So it's, not a coincidence that we might pause here. But if we start to trade sideways, I would be interested in the next reversal alert to the upside. And the reason why I'm looking at that is because the weekly chart is starting to tick up. And if things really get going, obviously we can kind of head back up here. So again, that's sort of the time frames I'm using. I'm using the oscillator on the weekly chart to sort of tell me which direction to take the 4-hour chart. And if you think about this, there's 2 candles per day on the 4-hour chart. So typically a typical 5-day trading week, there would be 10 candles for every 1 candle on the weekly chart. Okay, so there's 5 days in a week. 5 times 2 is 10. That's kind of what we're looking at. So let's take a look at. So obviously right now we don't have a buy signal, but we do have a movement to the upside, and we're waiting for a reversal alert to the upside. Now, what I did do today, let's take a look at Facebook. Facebook is the same thing. Basically, the oscillator is actually green, right? That's something that's with the spiders, it was red. Facebook is actually doing pretty well. It hit a 52-week high just a couple weeks ago and hit earnings. So I already like the fact that the stock ripped higher on earnings. It sold off with the market. We actually have the oscillator. If you look here, and the numbers are right here where the arrow is. If you look here, last week it was a 2.46, and right now we're at about a 3. So halfway through the week, this is ticking higher. Now, it's not an extreme tick higher, but it is higher. So if we take a look at this morning candle, we actually got a reversal alert to the upside. And I went out and bought, I think I bought the 100, March 100 call. So I went slightly in the money. This is actually a Delta 70 call, and I'm looking for a move to potentially retest the highs if the market can kind of hang in there. So that's how I'm sort of playing the turn. I'm letting the market prove itself to change directions, right? And even if it only changed for a couple weeks, remember, like I said, there's basically 10 candles per week. So you can get, within a week, you can get 2 or 3 reversal alerts. So you can get a couple short trades in. And then obviously the last trade you do will probably be a loser, because once this thing turns back down, you're going to take a buy signal, and then you may end up on the short side. Okay, so there is no perfect system, and we're going to trade this to the upside until the market tells us something different. Right now, the bulls have the momentum. We'll see what OPEC does. Who knows what we're going to wake up to next week, but that's how I'm trading that. So I'm long Facebook. I want to look at another one, gold. Gold, same thing, but opposite direction, right? So gold had this huge run, and had you been, looking at gold, what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 weeks ago, the oscillator started turning up. Okay, it's kind of hard to see, but the oscillator started turning up. So you had plenty of chances to get buy signals on gold over the last, several weeks. Now, not every buy signal worked out, but if you can handle these small losses, and that's part of the game, small losses, and then you get a nice huge winner or two. Okay. Right now, gold is starting to pause. We had this, I don't want to call this a topping tail, but we do get a sort of gap down, right? And the oscillator is moving down. So at this point, I'm interested in shorting gold, but I don't have a reversal alert to the downside. Think about this. In the morning session today, gold was actually up with stocks. And a lot of this has to do with the dollar. So, I'm not going to dive into currencies and things tonight because I'm already pushing 9-10 minutes here. But essentially, I'm looking for a reversal alert to the downside. And again, 4-hour chart. Then I would probably look at I'm actually thinking about some slight out of the money April puts and see if I can get back down. If we zoom out a little bit, I don't know if gold's going to get all the way back down to 100. I don't have it on the chart, but 108 is a target for me. It is the 13 EMA on the weekly chart, so that might be something you could kind of target. So I'm looking at like maybe the 110 puts and see if we can get a move down, and that would not destroy the gold rally. It's really just a pullback. And if we take a fib here, it's probably like a 50% retracement of this recent move. So it's nothing crazy. We're not trying to predict end of the world. We're just looking for trades that last, 4 to 6 bars, which in this case is 2 to 3 days. And right now, the weekly chart, the bulls are starting to, push stocks up. Gold's taking a breather. This is very similar to bonds, TLT, very similar chart to gold. Let's zoom out a little bit. Oh, wrong chart. Zoom out a little bit. Bonds kind of hit a previous resistance last week, faded. So we do have a topping tail for our candlestick lovers out there. We're starting to put in a reversal candle as well on the weekly chart, even though we're 2 days in, because we're actually taking out last week's low. Okay, that's actually, I think, more bearish than the gold chart. But basically, for bonds, we have a reversal alert to the upside. So all we're really looking for is this to do a reversal alert to the downside. So again, weekly chart starting to roll over, and we're waiting for the short signal. So again, the great thing about this is it doesn't matter. We're not looking at bear flags, bull flags, triangles, wedges. We're just looking for the reversal to happen. So I'm not as concerned about patterns here because we could very well trade sideways. You can see this little section, it traded sideways. So you're looking for buy signals because the oscillator is moving up. We have a reversal to the upside. So you could have got long here, and yeah, maybe you just hold through this, right? Put your stop, below the low, something reasonable, and then eventually you get another signal, and then and then you get the move up. Okay, so you take profits on your way up. So that's what I'm looking at. I'm long Facebook. I'm looking to get into some other vehicles, probably SPY calls. Let's take a quick look at IBB. This is very similar as well. I actually like the candlestick pattern on the weekly charts putting in. Same thing, oscillators coming up. You had, sell, 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 doji. You actually had a bottoming tail, did not confirm, right? So remember, candlestick worlds, you have to confirm. You got a bottoming tail, did not confirm, sold off, big fat weekly doji last week. And now, we're 2 days left, but we're confirming to the upside. And all we're really waiting for now is a reversal alert to the upside. So that is how I'm trading. I hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you at the next update.